Hello and welcome to 1011 Care. As always, I'm your host, Mike Lopez. The 2022-23 uh, hockey season has officially begun. Uh, SDL started last month, then Sky Hockey League, National League, and Division One NCAA teams all started within the last 3 weeks. Also, the A-Dub is officially back. So, with that, let's get started. On September 28th, Azure League for attendee Anna Prugova became the first woman to call it a KHL game. From the KHL site, which I translated through Google, so I apologize in advance if any of this doesn't make sense. Quote, since 2017, Anna has been invited to the studio of the Bashkir Satellite Television as an expert for the matches of Salavat Uleva. Salavat Ulev, which is the KHL side of Astro. Uh, in November 2021, Prugova made her debut as a commentator on the WHL matches on the league's YouTube channel. In April 2022, the Agile goalkeeper became a commentator on the KHL and KHL Prime TV channels for the first time at the WHL playoffs. The hockey player worked in pairs with Oleg Mozelev, Artyom, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Batrak, and Daira Mironova. September 23rd was the 30th anniversary of Manon Rameau becoming the first and sadly only woman to play in an NHL game. In an exhibition game against the St. Louis Blues, Rameau played the first period for the then expansion Tampa Bay Lightning. She wound up giving up 2 goals on 9 shots. 10 years later, almost to the day, on September 22nd, 2022, Shannon Zabados became the first woman to play in a Western Hockey League game. Zabados played 20 seconds for the Tri-City Americans, while starting goaltender Tyler Wyman had equipment issues. On September 27th, former Toronto Furies attendee and Olympic gold medalist Semi-Jo Small was named the second president of the Toronto Six at the PHF. Uh, Small was the president and GM of the Toronto Furies after she hung up her skates, and is currently an analyst for TSN during international broadcasts like the Olympics and Women's World. Fans will remember that Semi-Jo Small coached one of the 3 teams from last year's PHF All-Star festivities. After a 2-year hiatus, the Australian Women's Ice Hockey League, aka the A-Dub, is officially back for 2022-2023. The league announced the 2023 season begins November 11th with a game between returning champion the Sydney Sirens going against the rebranded Brisbane Lightning. Clean sheet, for those who don't know, is a soccer term, which means the attendee had a shutout. Kind of like the term, so I decided that we'll use it here as a segment to highlight all the attendees who've had a shutout since the last time we taped. Due to issues with me getting on their corresponding conference websites, U Sports stats are not included in this episode. As of this taping, Lulea of the SCHL has a current streak of 4 consecutive shutouts. 3 of those are for Frida Axel. The 4th one came from Sarah Graham, staying in Scandinavia. The NASA Liga saw a game where 2 brick walls decided to play the net. Salah Sibila, there we go, of HPK stopped 27 of 28 shots, while Yuli Kivimäki of Ilves stopped all 26 shots they faced to earn the shutout. All right, so moving on, there were over 40 shutouts in the first month of the hockey season, and here is a list of all attendees who had them. The 50 Saves Club is a way for us to showcase attendees who have made 50 or more saves in a game this season. That being said, attendees can be on the list multiple times. In a series against the University of Minnesota Duluth, LIU attendee Tindra Holm all but stood on her head against the national champion runner-up UMD Bulldogs. On September 24th, she stopped 61 of 63 shots against. The next day, she stopped 53 of 58 shots against. Like I said, both came in losing efforts, and her performance earned her NEWHA Goaltender of the Week. Now, in the third game of the season, LIU faced Northeastern, again, a powerhouse in the Women's Hockey League. In her first game, Holmes stopped 60 against Northeastern. In her first 3 games of the NCAA season, Holm has stopped 174 out of 184 shots. Most attendees don't see that many shots in a month, and she stopped them in 3 games. Not to be outdone, on September 29th, Linwood's Natalie Ferink made 66 saves against another powerhouse, the Wisconsin Badgers. The 66 saves rank 4th all-time in college hockey America history. Ferink was named CHA Goalie of the Week as well. Here's a list of the members of this month's 50 Save Club. Boston Pride have re-signed 2-time Isabel Cup champ Lovisa Selander. Selander was used primarily as a backup last season, appearing in 6 games, going 2-4-0 with a 3.61 goal against average and an .873 save percentage. Selander has the distinction of being the first Swedish Isabel Cup champ in NWHL PHF history. Per the Minnesota Whitecaps website, the Caps have re-signed attendee Jenna Brenneman. Fans may remember Brenneman being called into service last season after Levier broke a collarbone. Brenneman was one of 5 attendees to suit up for the Whitecaps last season. I think she played in 6 games, went 1-5. I'm not sure of her stats, but I also know that her season was cut short due to an injury. Other attendees that played for the Caps last year were Brenda Blessy, who started 2 games. And I know Julia Friend, who is a former PHF, got called into emergency service. And Allie Morse, who was the team's equipment manager at the time and attendee coach, technically suited up for a game but never actually saw ice time. Okay, moving on. Legendary Finnish netminder Noora Räty has signed on with HBK of the Naisaliiga. Räty, former Olympian, member of Team Suomi, joined HBK last season after winning the Svenska Hockey League title with KRS Senjin, and is a founding member of the PWHPA. All right, that's our show. But before we go, we would like to give a big thanks to Elite Prospects, Yarno Tucola, and Buffalo Butte Tendy, Lavisa Bernson, for helping us find game day stats for the SDHL and National League. Uh, that's it. So thank you, good night, and always.